I don't know how to start this video. Hi, my name's Casey and welcome to my channel. I've been racking my brain as to what should be the first video that I post on here, and then it dawned on me that I too can join the trend of ranking things via tier lists. So I've got two that suit my needs because I consider myself to be an expert on the subject of animated movies. And this video doesn't require a whole lot of effort to make besides talking for probably an hour. So let's go. So we're starting off here with Big Hero 6, which I would probably, well, initially I thought it would be a B, but then thinking back on it, I don't even own it. So I saw it in theaters only once, and initially liked it okay. I was going to give it a B, but I think it sits squarely in C just because I haven't been that interested in going back to it. And pretty much the only thing I can think of that I like is Gogo Tamago and the other girl whose name I am blanking on. Honey something. The twist at the end is really dumb. So yeah, it kind of sits there. It's not offensively bad or anything. It's just not great, in my opinion. Everything in this video is like my opinion, man. So there you go. Nightmare Before Christmas is S tier. Absolutely one of my favorite movies. It is brilliantly directed, beautiful to look at. Every scene has got something interesting going on, and it's so tightly paced and tightly constructed, and just the artistic vision behind it and the aesthetic, it's just great. Just what more could you want? Monsters versus Aliens. Ugh. Anybody remember Monsters versus Aliens? I remember absolutely hating it. I give it an F. I mean, I appreciate the idea of a giant woman. I mean, who doesn't? But there is nothing aside from that I liked about the movie in the slightest. The other characters are just, I don't like them. It's not great. It's not very memorable other than just being visually kind of gross. Monsters University, I give a D. Like, it's not, I don't regret the time spent watching it, but it's one I would go back to. Like, I'd rather rewatch Big Hero 6 than Monsters University. It's like, why did we need this? Why does it need to exist? Like, I get, like, Finding Dory being a thing, and I haven't seen Finding Dory yet, but I'm sure it's fine. You know, and Monsters U, it's fine, but it's, ultimately not that memorable. Toy Story 2, where's the first Toy Story? Yeah, let's find them and put them all in A, where they belong, because they're all great. I really like the concept. They got a lot of mileage out of it. I mean, they're coming out with a fourth one next month. Holy shit, which is crazy. And the sequels do what sequels should, in that they don't tarnish the spirit of the original, and like they're just as good. I don't know if I would say that Toy Story 2 is better than the first one, but like they're all equally good in my mind. They're all equally enjoyable and are just great stories. So here's hoping the fourth one is just as enjoyable. The Lion King, I give an S. One of my favorite movies of all time. It's, as I've seen it countless times since I was a kid, it just, like, the whole majesty behind it, and the visuals and character animation are just really great. It's it's just a great complete package, and I don't really have many problems with it. And it's clearly well beloved. At one point, it was the highest grossing animated movie to come out. But I mean, it's long been taken over by this point. I think by Frozen, which I think is in this list. But we'll get to that. But yeah, Lion King, I love it. It's great. Sausage Party, I have not seen, nor am I interested because it looks like a disgusting clusterfuck of a nightmare. Next, we have the Madagascar movies. For some reason, the first Madagascar is not in this tier list, which is weird. I really like Madagascar. I really like the character designs and the energy and the character animation. I would probably give the first Madagascar movie a B, because it's kind of cringy at some points, and like the celebrity casting, they kind of play that up a little bit much. So the second and the third one, I found the second one enjoyable, not as enjoyable as the first one, and then I'd give the third one a D just because it wasn't as memorable to me. Like, they joined the circus, and I don't really remember a whole lot of it aside from that. And I think the third one was a lot more obnoxious. So, I'm in the mood to go back and watch the first one now. It's just, like, the designs of the characters is one of its biggest strengths, I feel. Emperor's New Groove, I give an A, probably an A plus, maybe even S tier, because it's unique. It's hilarious. It has a fantastic villain. Villains. It's just, it's hilarious. Like, if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. You won't regret it. Ratatouille. Rat-tat-tat-a-touille. I remember the marketing for this being really obnoxious for some reason. I gave it a B. It's a good movie. I really like Remy, the rat, as a main character, and I like how he's voiced by Patton Oswalt, who's one of my favorite comedians. The Pixar movies do really good with their casting like that. Like, they're not like banking on their celebrity talent, like like you have Patton Oswalt as Remy or Ellen DeGeneres as Dory, but they suit their characters, and they're comedians, character actors, so they fit the role that they're made to play. So back to this movie. Why I don't rank it a little higher is the character designs of the humans are off-putting to me. I get what they were going for, but and it's a good time. Also, that movie really makes me hungry. Like, anything involving food, I'm like, okay, B movie. Jesus Christ. Oh, B movie is an F. I should make it its own category, like, just for meme, and put B movie and Shrek in it, because there are movies. Well, for B movie, it's a movie you need to watch at least once to ask yourself, to just befuddle yourself, and to ask the question of, why does this exist? Why was it made? And, well, the answer is because Jerry Seinfeld, a man of great wealth and power, decided, hey, why don't we make a movie about bees and call it B movie? That's hilarious, right? And so you have this incomprehensible plot of a mess where at first it starts with Barry B. Benson begrudging the idea that his parents have to work so hard and that bees have to work so hard, and why do these humans sell our honey? Like, what's the deal with people eating our honey. And so then he sues the human population, and there's Ray Liotta for some reason, and there's a bee Larry King, and then it turns into, and a bee is dating a human woman, and no one sees the problem with this. Like, don't put gays in your movies, but it's okay for a bee to date a human woman. This is totally normal, you guys. It's a fine. Then it turns into a we need to save the bees message, which is a good message that is important because we need the bees to continue to pollinate our shit. Well, I don't. It's weird. I don't know why it exists. I can't begrudge it. Well, I do I begrudge its existence. I'm sorry. I need to stop. It's a shitty movie. Come on. Lego Movie. I give a B. No, we're not talking about B movie anymore. Here's the Lego Batman movie. I give an A. So I like the Lego Batman movie more than the regular Lego movie because the protagonist of the Lego movie, Emmett, I think his name is, I don't like that kind of character. It grates on my nerves. I'm not really a fan of that archetype of the, but the artistry behind it and just the way that it's animated and just so cleverly done, with the world building and how the Legos are used and how they make the water, which is not really water, it's just Legos. It's beautiful to look at, like really funny. They're good stuff. Hotel Transylvania. The dance number at the end kind of kills it for me. For now, I would like to rewatch it, but for now I'll put it in B. It's directed by Genndy Tartakovsky, who you might know as the creator of Dexter's Lab, among other things. He really went all out with the physical humor and characters for this. It's a good time. I definitely recommend it. WALL-E, I give an A. I like how there's not a whole lot of dialogue, especially, if I recall, I think there's, more so in the first half of the movie, there's, barely any dialogue. And then, I think why I wouldn't put it in S is near the end. The message is a little bit, ham-handed and kind of very in your face about consumerism and all that, which, it's not wrong, but anyway, it's a very cute, charming movie. WALL-E and Eve have great character designs. It's really good. Bolt. This one's weird. I'll put it in D because I don't really remember a lot. It's not that memorable. It's just Bolt. Yeah, that was a thing that existed, and John Travolta voiced Bolt, and it was kind of weird. I remember the plot being that Bolt thought he was an actual action movie or television star, but he gets separated from his owner, and he has to get reunited with her. But I have a feeling that was there anything else going on besides that? Was there something more insidious? Was there a villain? I don't know. It was just kind of okay. It's fine. It's fine. Pokemon, the first movie. I'll give it a C. Yeah. Because I really like Mewtwo. Mewtwo's cool. And as far as Pokemon movies go, it's probably one of the best ones. Which, I mean, there's a lot of Pokemon movies, and a lot of them are shitty. Not including Detective Pikachu. Like, just talking about the anime versions. So yeah, it's like a nice nostalgic romp if one were to go back to it, but it's one of those things where you need to be a fan of Pokemon. Like, if you're not already into Pokemon, why would you watch it? Unless you're a parent who has to take your kids to see it. Oh God, Shrek. Somebody once told me I would give it. Uh, I don't know. Where do you put Shrek? It's also been a long ass time since I've seen it, aside from the context of meme. Back when it came out, it was one of the best looking animated movies at the time. I mean, I think this was like 2001, with the 3D animated, the technologies behind those movies were still very much trying to figure things out, and it, was a very good looking movie. But aesthetically speaking, is it that good looking? And I don't know. It's entertaining, I guess. Yeah, yeah. Little Mermaid. B. I I guess. I This is one I'm more like nostalgic for. I used to hold in higher regard, but its plot is, she's Ariel's a 16-year-old mooning after this guy who's, yeah, probably at least 20, who knows, and then they get married, and spoilers, I guess. Like, it's kind of weird. But the songs are great. Under the Sea, Part of Your World, Poor Unfortunate Souls. All great songs. Probably because they were written by Howard Ashman, who also worked on whatever his deal was with Little Shop of Horrors. So yeah, it's got problems, but the music is great and it's really well animated. So I can appreciate what it does and where it stands in animation history as being an important part of the resurgence of the Disney Renaissance. Well, the beginning of the Disney Renaissance period. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. That does not look like English, so this is probably a poster from a different country. I guess. It's not offensively bad. It's a fine movie to just throw on if you want to get really, really fucking hungry. I don't even remember the plot of it other than this guy's a scientist and then he can make food rain from the sky. And it's supposed to, like, to cure world hunger, I guess. It's fine. It's not. It's okay. It's. Meh. Book of Life. I have not seen, but I really, really want to watch it because I really like the aesthetic, the Day of the Dead sort of vibe, and it looks like a lot of fun, so I need to watch this soon. The Lorax. I have not seen, nor am I interested because it totally does not understand the message and the spirit of the original, and it looks like a hot fucking mess. And it's just, and the whole marketing and promotional tie-ins around it were just fucking gross. So, no thank you. Inside Out, I'll give a D. It's alright. I think it's really well casted. I like Amy Poehler as the main character. Well, I guess, yeah, she's the main character, Joy. I do I appreciate, I like the world building of how the emotions work and how they work with the memories, how each memory is represented by a little marble, and it's part of a, like, the machine of memories and the brain and all that. But ultimately, not that not that memorable. And, like, if you think too hard about the world building, it's like, don't think too hard about it, but it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. The Incredibles, I give an A. It's really solid, really good, really interesting characters, and yeah, it's a good time. I have not seen Incredibles 2 yet, but that one I'm definitely more interested in seeing than something like Ralph Breaks the Internet, which here that is, let's pick out Wreck-It Ralph, which I would give a C. I like the concept and ideas, but I don't really care much for Ralph as a character, and it's like, what else does it really have going for it besides its concept and all the video game characters that they can throw in? Like, that element of it is fun, but functioning as an engaging movie, is it really? Finding Nemo, I actually rewatched recently. I give it an A. It's really engaging, really funny, well casted, a lot of fun, really nice to look at. It's a grand old time. Megamind. E. Uh, if I recall, it starred Will Ferrell, Tina Fey, and Brad Pitt. Now, I understand the casting of Will Ferrell and Tina Fey as they're, comedians, they're comedy actors, but Brad Pitt, I don't understand a casting decision for just, he doesn't have a particularly unique voice. I'm sure he's a good actor, but does he suit an animated character? So, that aside, I don't know. Megamind might be a D. It's been a while since I've seen it, but it doesn't really have that much, like, going for me for my personal taste. So it's Aladdin, I give an A for Aladdin. It's a lot of fun. Love Gilbert Gottfried, love Robin Williams, rest in peace. So it's definitely, along with The Lion King, a well-beloved movie, which is why people actually care about the remakes coming out. Dumbo came out and no one hardly talked about it or went to see it, because who gives a shit about Dumbo? Something like Aladdin is actually good and entertaining and, has more going for it. Into the Spider-Verse is S tier. I don't think anyone's going to argue with me over that. It's a fantastically, beautifully animated movie. It is a landmark achievement in animation, how they just melded so many styles. The pure talent and artistry behind it is just incredible. It's incredible to look at. It's great to rewatch. It's awesome. On the complete opposite side of something that did not need to be animated, the Emoji Movie I actually haven't seen, but I'm not interested in the slightest, because why would I? Patrick Stewart cannot save this movie for me as the shit or poo emoji. Why does it goddamn exist? Why? Despicable Me 3, I have not seen. I have not seen Despicable Me 2 either. I cannot believe they made three of them. And Minions, I have not seen, nor am I interested. So, Despicable Me, the first one, I give an E, I guess, because it's another one where, like, I don't regret the time I spent watching it, but I don't care to rewatch it, and especially now the minions are obnoxious. I like the story of a mad scientist adopting and raising these three little girls, and that's fun. Other than that, it's kind of weird. Meet the Robinsons, I have not seen, nor am I interested. The movie looks like ass. Even when it came out, it looked like ass. It was a very not a good time with Disney Animation Studios back then. It's yeah, I don't want to. I'm not interested. Moana. I give a B. I would rank it higher, but there are things about it that get on my nerves. So, let's talk about what's good. The music is great. Yeah. That's its strongest suit. The soundtrack, the songs, that's fantastic. I would rather listen to the soundtrack than watch the movie. So with Moana as a main character, she's she plays up that awkward sort of archetype that they started with Rapunzel. And I mean, I like weird, awkward girls as much as the next person, but it seems kind of manufactured. And the humor is like really cornball, kind of cringy at points. I don't like the chicken. The chicken is very distracting. I'm always worried about that poor chicken. It takes me out of it. I like the song with the giant crab, but that whole sequence is weird. Is in most of the movies on a boat. I don't know. There's enough to annoy me where I wouldn't rank it higher, but I understand like why it's so popular. Tangled, I think I moved this over accidentally, but let's rank it. I give it a B. I like how super girly it is and that it's a musical. When they marketed it, I went into the movie having no clue it was a musical because they did not want it. They wanted to, oh, we gotta make sure we have little boys that want to come see this movie. They aren't gonna want to see some princess movie with a musical, but then, they get to the theater and it's like, holy shit, when will my life begin? And, yeah. It's cute. It's fun. It's a good time. I like it. Coco, I have not seen yet. I hear it's good. I hear it can make you cry like a bitch. I think it's still on Netflix. Or maybe not. The Disney with their shit. And they're like, we gotta have our own streaming service for stuff. Like, can you just make your movies, like, easily watchable? Or just, like, easily obtainable? Can you not be, like, big pains in the ass about your property? That's like, just let me watch the fucking movie. Okay, Finding Dory. I've only seen the beginning of it, and it seems cute. It seems fine. I'd probably give it a B or a C if I watched the whole thing. Like it's a sequel, like, well, why does it exist? But its existence is not offensive. It's fine, I'm sure. But I need to watch it. Your Name. I'll give a B. When I like the first half way more than the second half. When the first half is more about the body swapping adventures and them navigating their daily lives and that's fun. Then when it gets kind of into the more serious plot-driven territory and like saving the town, that's where it kind of loses me. And it's very pretty, very nice to look at, really appealing character designs. But when you kind of think too deeply into it, it kind of, you know, like don't think too hard about it. The less you think deeply into it, the more you'll enjoy it. So, but I think it's pretty good. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, I have not seen, nor am I interested. I don't know why they made a sequel. I know, pretty sure it's based on a children's book, but did they really have enough material or to make a sequel? Why? Probably won't watch it. Frozen. Oh boy. Frozen. Oh fuck. I'll give it a B. B minus. Borderline C. And let me explain. So, I think Frozen has a lot of weaknesses, and that it suffers from a lack of cohesive identity because it was in pre-production for so long that I think it definitely lost its way. And the first half of the movie is really strong. The songs are good. You want to build a snowman. Anna's song at the beginning, whose title I forget. Let It Go is great. I love Let It Go. I love Idina Menzel, the voice of Elsa. That's really good casting, and Idina Menzel is one of my favorite actresses, mainly Broadway actresses. She's great. Kristen Bell is good as Anna. Josh Gad is good as Olaf. As good as Olaf can be, I guess. Olaf's existence is... he could be worse, but he's still not... So, after Elsa's Let It Go, that's the high point of the movie, and then it just kind of drops off from there, going into Anna and Kristoff's merry adventure, and then it's like, where is the musical? Well, I guess then you have Olaf doing his number, and then you have the song sung by the Forest Trolls near the end, which is weird, and it's so weird. It reminds me of the Gargoyles song from Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is totally strange and out of place and doesn't need to be there. So I hope Frozen 2 is a lot better. I hope it improves on the first one a lot and just has more Elsa being a badass, because she's the highlight of it for me. She's awesome, and I don't like how Anna and Elsa's, their faces look the same, like they have Rapunzel face. That's the problem. So, anywho, we'll just leave Frozen in B territory for now. Hotel Transylvania 2, I have not seen, and I have not seen the third one. They're probably just as fun. They're probably just as good. I'd like to watch them soon. How to Train Your Dragon, I give a B as well. So, How to Train Your Dragon. I know some people consider this DreamWorks' best movie. That honor I give to Kung Fu Panda, which I'll talk about in a minute. But with How to Train Your Dragon, I think it's definitely a good movie. Certainly a lot better than most of DreamWorks movies, but the character designs and the aesthetic of it just doesn't do it for me. I think it looks ugly. Now, I'm sure I haven't seen the second one yet, and the third one is coming out later this year. I'm sure, as technology has improved, they look better, but, it's just my opinion, man. So, it's fine. Kung Fu Panda, I give an S. This movie is fucking great. So, the artistic direction is fantastic. The character designs are great, and how the animals, depending on the animal they are, that determines their fighting style. It has great fight choreography. It's just so visually strong and engaging and just great. I love Kung Fu Panda, and the sequel is just as good, if not better, which is amazing. I haven't seen the third one yet, but I'd really like to. It delves more into Poe's backstory. But yeah, Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2, you gotta watch them. They're fantastic. Pokemon I Choose You, I have not watched yet. I'm pretty sure this is on Netflix. I can throw it on. As far as I know, it's just a retelling of like the first game or like the anime. Um, so yeah, I mean, revisiting Red and Blue, how many times are, we gotta retread Gen 1. Not that I mind, because I grew up with Generation 1, so I hold it dearly, so I don't mind if they keep going back to it. Shrek 3 is weird and god awful. Why didn't they put. Why is there Shrek 1 and 3 but not 2? I think Shrek 2 is actually. I put Shrek 2 in C, I think. I think it's another sequel that improves on the first one, but then they made too goddamn many Shrek movies. I think there's 4 of them. Somehow. Like they made too many Ice Age movies. So, Shrek 3, it sucks. I don't have anything else to add other than it sucks. I think Justin Timberlake's in it, and, Justin Timberlake is fine, but it was weird. Whatever. My Hero Academia. I think there's only one My Hero Academia movie, and I think this is the one that they brought over here and screened in theaters, which I have seen. I give it a B. It's good. It's a good movie if you're a fan of the series. It's not a good jumping in point. And there is a severe lack of my bird husband, Fumikage Tokoyami. Give me more bird husband. And Froppy was hardly in the movie. I think she had like one line. So a severe lack of Froppy as well. But I appreciated everyone looking cute in their outfits. If this is the movie I'm thinking of, where they go to that island and then they get the help from that inventor's daughter who has a very attractive figure, but yeah, it's fine. If you like My Hero Academia, then you'll like it. Up. I would give Up a B as well. It's not my favorite Pixar movie, but I appreciate it in that it's unique in its story and protagonist. It's kind of hard to go back to because it's more somber and contemplative, as somber and contemplative as a Pixar movie can get. So it's kind of, not, a happy, fun time, always on a rewatch, except with the dogs. The dogs are really funny, but, it's good stuff. Monsters Inc. I give an A. I really like it a lot. I like the world building, the characters. It's just a lot of fun. It's really funny. I like it. Okay, last on this one, we've got Horton Hears a Who, which is kind of mediocre. It's fine, I guess. Jim Carrey and Steve Carell are appropriately casted for an animated movie. Steve Carell is actually Gru in Despicable Me as well, incidentally. So, but it's anyway. There's in Horton Hears a Who. There's a scene that parodies anime for some reason. It's really random, but pretty funny. There's a weird musical bit at the end. So, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. It's not super offensively bad. It's just okay. So that concludes this tier list. Alright, so we have another tier list, Animated Movies 2.0. A little bit of overlap with the other one, but enough new stuff to throw in. And here is Shrek as the first thing. What did I give Shrek 5 minutes ago? I gave it a D. Jungle Book. Jungle Book, where do I put it? I think I'll put it in B, though I do really like it. I rewatched it recently along with the 2016 version. But just speaking of the animated movie, I like the setting and the character animations. Some of the best character animation for animals I've seen in most anything. I like the soundtrack. But it sure is a man's world in that jungle, isn't it? Aside from the girl at the end who sings the song and the elephant hottie's wife, there's like hardly any women in the movie like that have a speaking role. So just that was the 60s, man. But it's a fun time. Only yesterday I've not seen yet, but I definitely should soon. My Neighbor Totoro is S tier. My favorite Ghibli movie, my favorite Miyazaki movie. It is perfect. It, like, somehow, a movie with hardly any plot that I think is almost 2 hours long, like, never feels like sluggish, never feels like there's any moment that it just drags on. It's just in the visuals, and Totoro is one of the most amazing character designs. This movie is fantastic. If you have not seen Totoro, you gotta watch it. It's charming, it's whimsical, it's Totoro. Totoro. Whisper of the Heart, I have not seen yet. I have seen The Cat Returns, which is where the cat Baron von blah blah blah, like his introduction, I suppose, is in Whisper of the Heart, and I hear it's a pretty cute movie, but need to watch it. The Incredibles I gave an A. Kung Fu Panda, I gave an S for reasons previously mentioned. Fantastic Mr. Fox. Oh, this one deserves a rewatch. Where's Isle of Dogs? So, both movies directed by Wes Anderson, so they have similar styles, similar flares, and obviously similar directing. Same dude. With the dialogue and stuff. It's very like fast paced, very snappy. For Isle of Dogs, I give it a C because although I really appreciate the artistry, it didn't really connect with me. Like even as a fan of dogs and a former owner of a dog, I couldn't really connect to the protagonists or the human characters. It has this weird kind of masculinity about it that again, I can't really relate to, but so with Fantastic Mr. Fox, I remember it's been over a decade since I've seen it, so I'm gonna put in don't remember, but I know I would rank it higher than Isle of Dogs because I remember liking it more. So Fantastic Mr. Fox could potentially be a B or an A, but we'll see. Kubo is a very artistically beautiful movie. The story's a little predictable at some points, but just looking at it and taking it all in, it's really an enjoyable movie to watch and absorb and just be like, wow, the hell did they do that? It's I like the aesthetic. It's really cool. Kiki's Delivery Service, I give an A. I hold it dearly. It's got its flaws come in because it's being based on a book, so the ending had to be rewritten a little bit, and the kind of world building aspects, like if you kind of question the world that they're in like a little too much, then kind of takes you out of the experience. It's like another thing where like don't think too hard about X, Y, or Z, or but overall it's a really Kiki is a great protagonist, and it's a really interesting story and examination of depression and coming to age. And I've seen some interpretations where Kiki is a young lesbian because she gets depressed because she feels out of place where she is, because she's being hosted by, the husband and wife, and then she grows apart from Gigi, who has the hots for for a female cat, and then, but after she goes into the woods and talks with that painter, who, could be lesbian, then she, comes into herself and feels more at peace. It's definitely an interesting interpretation that I can get behind, so that's one way to look at the story, but it also feels really long, but it's a good time. The Wind Rises, I have not watched yet. This was supposed to be Miyazaki's last movie, but as we all know, he's making a new 3D animated movie about bugs. Hopefully, I'm sure it'll be better than A Bug's Life. But yeah, I haven't watched this yet. I hear it's really good, so should watch it soon. Ponyo, I'll give a B, just because it's beautiful to look at and a whole lot of fun. It has been a while since I've seen it, so it's good time. I don't know what the hell this is, so I'm gonna say I haven't seen it. Castle in the Sky, I'll also give a B. Like your more standard adventure flair, and then you have the romance between the two main leads, and as is common with with most of Miyazaki's films, you have the environmental message, which take that for what it is. But it's a good time. It's a good movie. Grave of the Fireflies I have not seen yet, because I know how depressingly sad and heartbreaking it is, and I'm never in the right state of mind to prepare myself to cry like a bitch. So I haven't seen it yet. Despicable Me, I gave an E, if I recall correctly. Hey, I'm a poet and I don't even know it. Akira is S tier because it's just insane to look at, and its cultural impact and significance, it just, puts it in S tier alone. The year it came out, 1988, along with Totoro, that was a pretty landmark year in animation. Akira, it was really, it's incredible to look at. You look at the animation and how, everything pieces together. Although I do need to read the manga because, obviously it goes more in depth, and the film is more of a small piece, and I feel like there's not a whole lot that the movie gives you to think about other than what the fuck was that that I just watched and experienced. But it's a very important pivotal experience. Emperor's New Groove, I gave an A for reasons mentioned. Nightmare Before Christmas is S tier. Watership Down, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I am not super inclined to rewatch it because it's just, it's like Plague Dogs, which a lot of animal violence, very disturbing, not a fun time. I know what it entails, so I'm not super inclined to go back to it. I'm not sure how I'd rate it. It's an interesting story, but not a fun time. Fantastic Planet, I have not seen. Secret of NIMH, I'll give, A or B? I'll give it an A. I think it is Don Bluth's best movie back when he actually made good movies, in the 80s, and then in the 90s he went kind of crazy. Secret of NIMH, I like the character designs and how unbelievably dark it is. So it's really interesting, and it's a hard watch, but it's always intriguing to go back to it. Land Before Time also came out in '88, but not. It's important, but not nearly as important as like Totoro or Akira. I would give it a C because it's definitely more of a children's movie. Like, it's shorter. I think it's only like 70 minutes long, and the main characters are children voiced by children, so it's and it's a very heart-wrenching, it's a very tug on your heartstrings kind of movie. So I get, people hold it dearly, before they made like 15 other Land Before Time movies after it. But the first one's pretty solid, just not my favorite. Monsters, Inc. I gave an A. WALL-E, I gave an A. Okay, Ghost in the Shell, I have not seen, and that is criminal, I know. I'm sorry. I really need to watch it, because I know it's amazing. I know. I'm sorry. And I consider myself an expert here. What is wrong with me? Big Hero 6, I gave a C. In This Corner of the World, I have not watched yet. Inside Out, I gave a D, I'm pretty sure. I think. Do I still agree with my opinions from 30 minutes ago? Yes, I still do. Okay, Millennium Actress by Satoshi Kon, I have not seen yet, which is another grievance, which is another crime. But I have seen Perfect Blue, which is in S tier. So Satoshi Kon, the director, left this world way too soon, but his impact on the medium of animation is still highly regarded to this day. So Perfect Blue is amazing. You have to watch this movie. You have to experience it, because it's a movie that cannot exist in another medium. And it's really eerie how it foretold the future, with idol culture and internet stalking, and it's the topics that are still super relevant today of how toxic and entitled fandom can be. It's so dark, it's so visceral, really uncomfortable, but you gotta experience it if you haven't. I'm really glad they've re-released it on Blu-ray so that more people can experience it. Beauty and the Beast, I would give it an A. I really like it a lot. I like Belle as a protagonist. I think she's my favorite Disney princess, quote unquote. Well, I guess she becomes a princess, but she's a great character. I like her voice. I like her sass. And she is an independent woman, and you do not want to fuck with her. I like it. Lion King, I gave an S for reasons previously mentioned. Princess Kaguya, I have not seen yet. Fantasia, I don't remember well enough to give it a ranking. I'm sure it's got, it's very strong, iconic sequences, and then some that are Porco Rosso, I give an S. it's great. It's fantastic. It's so much fun. Great protagonists, just great characters. You can really feel like the love and the passion. Like Miyazaki is huge into planes. Like he's obsessed with flying. He's obsessed with planes. In Porco Rosso as a character, he is Miyazaki. So it's Porco is his self insert basically, and you gotta really love and admire the passion for aircraft that you see in this movie. And it's just a good, solid action adventure movie. Porco Rosso's so cool. The girl that builds the planes, she's awesome. She's great. It's a great movie. Paprika, I have not seen in over a decade. I need to rewatch it. From what I've gathered, it's considered Satoshi Kon's least beloved movie. Tokyo Godfathers is not here, but I've seen that and I enjoy it. That's a good Christmas movie. But Paprika, it's definitely visually impressive, but I don't remember well enough to give it a ranking. A Silent Voice is S tier. Naoko Yamada is one of my favorite directors. She directed K-On!, Tamako Market, Tamako Love Story, and the beautiful and brilliant Liz and the Bluebird. And Silent Voice is a great, fantastic movie, great adaptation. I saw the movie, then read the manga, and then watched the movie again, and have since on repeated watchings. And I think some people have grievances with, adapting a 7-volume manga into a 2-hour movie, but I think it serves its purpose well as an adaptation and really fits in as much detail as it possibly can to act as a great adaptation. But I definitely recommend reading the manga to get more insight into the side characters that really don't have a lot of time to shine, so you can kind of understand where they're coming from more, although most of them are pieces of shit and are the worst. But it's a really hard it's a hard movie to watch. It's a very visceral experience. Well, the manga is even more so, but yeah, it's good shit. And it's beautiful to look at. Like, all these movies in S tier are gorgeous to look at. There's probably going to be a couple more, but we'll do a recap. Tekon Kincrete, I also have not seen in a decade. I like the aesthetic of it. The visual style is really interesting. I don't recall who directed it off the top of my head, but it deserves a rewatch. Frozen, where did I put it? I think I gave it a B. For reasons mentioned, have not seen Coco yet. Wreck-It Ralph, I gave a C, I think. Yes. I still agree with my opinions. Emoji Movie I haven't seen, but it's shit. I just know it. Coraline, I give an A. If I were to rewatch it, it might go in S. I do like it more than Kubo. It's my favorite movie from Laika Studios. I don't see any others on here, like Paranorman or Box Trolls, or that one with the missing link or whatever. Not sure how much I'll like that one, but Coraline, I like the visual style of it. I really like the protagonist. I like the tone, how off-putting it is. It's really great. A+, possibly S tier, but I need to rewatch it. I don't know what this is, so I'm gonna put it in haven't seen. I'm not sure if it's like Sword of the Stranger or something like that. I'm sorry. Someone might be screaming at me about it right now. I don't know. This is Summer Wars, which I also haven't seen, which is also kind of criminal. So the director, I would like it because I like the director Mamoru Hosoda's style. I like his visual style and like character designs, I think, more than more than anything. What else by him is in here? I don't see Girl Who Leapt Through Time, which I haven't seen, but I have seen Wolf Children, which I'll give a B, and Boy and the Beast, which I really like, I'll give an A. And I've seen Mirai of the Future. I'd probably give Mirai of the Future a B, just because it doesn't like speak to me personally, and it's very like with Wolf Children, it's very hallmarky, like, and Hosoda is very much a director who is going after that normie crowd. Well, I don't know if he's actively going after it, but his movies are pretty normie, like stuff you can show your family, sort of deal. Same with Makoto Shinkai, director of Your Name. So, I like Boy and the Beast more. I put in A, because I think the story is more interesting to me, and I really like the really good fight scenes. Really good. I like the visual style and the color palette. The latter half of the movie, like the last third of it, I feel is kind of weaker compared to the first two thirds, but I still like it. So that's my Mamoru Hosoda take right there. Yeah, Wolf Children is kind of a bit too sappy for my taste at parts. Pinocchio, I don't really remember well enough. Nor am I really that interested in going back to watch it, because I'm not that attached to Pinocchio or Jiminy Cricket as characters, and from what I recall, the movie's kind of dark and fucked up in places, especially with the young boys turning into donkeys and stuff. That's fucked up, and you cannot show characters smoking cigars in animated movies anymore. So it's kind of an interesting piece in animated history there. Not sure how I'd rank it. Into the Spider-Verse is S tier, as mentioned. Again, beautiful movies to look at. Howl's Moving Castle, I would give a B. So, Howl's Moving Castle, I think, also suffers because it's based on a book, but it has less cohesion than Kiki does, because Howl's movie is just fucking weird. I've seen it, more than once, at least 3 times, and I'm always left scratching my head, wondering what the goddamn point was, and what the fuck did I just watch? And Howl as a character is kind of insufferable. He's like, and I think it had an anti-war message thrown in, kind of on the nose at the time of when it came out, but it's just fucking weird. It's weird, man. I don't get it. I don't know what this is, so I'll mark as haven't seen. Mary and Max I also haven't seen. If it's still on Netflix, it's been in my queue. I think it's a stop motion animated thing. Interesting looking aesthetic. Nazca of the Valley of the Wind, I give an A. The somewhat first official Ghibli movie. I love Nazca as a character. She's a great protagonist. She's a badass you do not want to fuck with. But I do need to read the manga, because if I recall, the manga is 11 volumes long, and the movie only covers about the first and a half volume, so it only offers a small piece of the whole package of the world building of Nazca, and it's a very interesting world that they live in. Sometimes the movie drags a bit in places, but the background art is really beautiful. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. Batman Mask of the Phantasm. I'm sure I've seen this on TV, but I don't remember it well enough. I'm sure it's alright. Lego Movie, I gave Did I give it a B or a C? Oh. I guess it's a B. We'll go with it. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is S tier. The artistry behind it is fucking incredible. The amount of work and effort and attention to detail they went in to make the cartoon characters interact with the live action footage is just amazing. Like, if watch any bit of information of how they made this movie, it will blow your mind. But aside from that, it's a lot of fun. Also came out in '88, so continuing that amazing '88 goodness there. South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut. I give an A. I really enjoy it. The music is great, the songs are great. It's still fucking funny. It's it came out back when I was actually watching South Park and thought it was, actually funny back then.
Mr. Garrison, how would you like to suck my balls? How would you like to suck my balls, Mr. Garrison?
Princess Mononoke is S tier. My second favorite Ghibli Miyazaki movie, maybe. Pretty much like Totoro, Porco Rosso, Mononoke, and Spirited Away. Those are top tier. So let's talk about Mononoke first. It's amazingly badass story with amazingly badass characters and probably the strongest environmental message in his movies or in any movie. And then Spirited Away always amazes me with the artistry and the level of detail, like with all of Miyazaki movies in the S tier here. Like, every time I rewatch them, I gain more and more appreciation for them and their storytelling and their artistry and just how beautiful they are. And Spirited Away, the progression of the main character Chihiro is always a joy to watch and is just amazing to take in every time. So, this S tier, man, this is all good shit. From Up on Poppy Hill, I have not watched yet, but I hear it's pretty cute. Need to give it a look. Up, I gave a B. Corpse Bride, I don't remember well enough. I think I liked it, but I doubt it's one of my favorites if I were to rewatch it. But yeah, I liked it well enough. Iron Giant, I don't know where to put this. Well, maybe I do. I'll put in C. They played it way too much on Cartoon Network. Oh, God. But aside from that, Brad Bird's visual style and aesthetic, he also directed The Incredibles. It works better for me personally in The Incredibles, but his visual style just doesn't really do it for me, and I can't really connect to this movie. It's good, just not my favorite. Tangled, I gave a B for reasons mentioned. Toy Story, I gave an A. Zootopia. Do I give S or an A? S. I think it is the best movie that the Disney animation, department side of things, like, that have been working on the 3D animated features. I think it's their best one so far. I think it's my favorite one. I love the characters, the world building, the humor. It's great. It's got a lot going for it. It's solid. Finding Nemo, I gave an A. The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, I think this is. I watched a lot when I was younger, but I don't remember well enough to put a ranking on it. I do remember really liking how the characters would interact with the actual pages of the book and like walking on the letters and stuff. I always thought that was really interesting visually, but it's been too long. Wallace and Gromit: Curse of the Were-Rabbit I have not seen yet, but I would like to watch because I really like Wallace and Gromit. So I'd probably like this movie a lot, and it's claymation, so that's always fun. Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. It's hard to rank it because it was the first feature-length animated film, so it's like very important to the medium as a cultural milestone. But as a movie that's entertaining, it just is D. It's just kind of boring. It's I appreciate its history, but it's just about some chick living out in the woods with 7 weird dudes. I mean, and the queen, yeah, she's hot and all, but she's not as hot as Maleficent or nothing. It's, yeah, might go and see. It's probably it's alright. When Marnie was there, I have not watched yet, though I do know where the story goes, so I think a big element of it has been kind of spoiled for me. It didn't go in a direction a lot of people hoped it did, but I'll give it a watch soon enough. Your Name, I gave a B for normie reasons. So normie. Ratatouille, I gave a B. How to Train Your Dragon, I gave a B. Ice Age.
Oh, yeah.
An E. It's for the even for the time it came out, it did not look that good, and the voice cast is kind of obnoxious. You've got Ray Romano, John Leguizamo, and Dennis Leary. So and Dennis Leary was the ladybug in A Bug's Life, and he's like, he thinks he's too good for it, or thought he was too good for animated movies, but like, and then the plot is like the three of them find a baby and they have to like reunite it, and it's whatever. It's just kind of okay. And they made too goddamn many of them. There's like 4 or maybe 5. Just stop. It needs to stop. Okay, I'm done. So here you go. About an hour and a half later. It's gonna edit this down. So yeah, an hour later. This is what I've got for you. I did have a full like Disney movie list open, but that's a whole other endeavor. So if you made it this far, I'm quite impressed and flattered. You must really like the sound of my voice, or like to hear someone talk about animated movies. Stick around on my channel for hopefully more focused content in the future of whatever the heck I feel like making. I appreciate you. Hope you have a great one. Peace out.